I'm your host, Donna Cates, and each week we'll dive into powerful stories, expert strategies, and practical tools to help you take charge of your financial future. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating a divorce, or simply looking to build your wealth with confidence, this is your space to grow, learn, and thrive. Let's get started with today's podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to introduce you to Leslie Rubin, who was with Image Matters Advisors. Thank you for joining us today, Leslie.
My pleasure, Donna. Thank you for having me.
I'm delighted to have you, and I'm excited today to delve deep into your career journey. So,
Yeah,
if you could give us maybe a 90-second overview of what it is that you do and why you got into it, I'd appreciate it.
sure. Careers can happen and some are focused. I would say mine happened, and the direction that I've taken and where I'm at today and the work that I do with executives and leaders was a lot of the areas I decided to, the paths I took in my career. I have a pretty rich background as far as high tech. I'm here in the Bay Area. So obviously working with companies like Oracle and SAP and Cisco are in my blood. But I've branched out, and the work that I now do internationally with a lot of cybersecurity companies and electric vehicles. So it's really become such a broad set of work and things that I do. Where I primarily focus is working with leaders to increase their voice, their visibility, and their brand. And I have various frameworks for doing that and working with leadership teams to really bring some cohesion to the messages they deliver, being thoughtful and strategic. But it's also looking at the individuals who deliver those messages. Are they intentional? Are we communicating at the right cadence, with the right approach, and really addressing what the audience needs? So, overall, the work I do in strategic and executive communications globally, truly a passion. And now I'm 10 years in it and loving it still.
That is awesome. And you own the business, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me, what do you see as one of the biggest issues or problems in your industry, and how are you going about solving that?
I would say that leaders aren't as intentional in stepping back before they step forward. And I had a really great conversation with a female leader this morning. And we talked a little bit about how, first of the year, what things do we want to achieve? Being strategic, being thoughtful, and then doing another check-in. Is it check-in with yourself quarterly? Is it check-in, I think of birthday? Is it Chinese New Year? Is it December? Where do we check in with ourselves to make sure that things are on track? And be that personally or professionally. And the difficulty of that sometimes for leaders, women, people on the rise, emerging leaders, is that we're moving so fast. And it's easy for me to say, someone who's been in career a bit, that I do take the time or I do block my calendar. But to really think about, writing things out or spending an hour here and there just to really say, okay, what am I doing today? What needs to get done? What's the high priorities? And leaders can do that with their teams. It's just taking that extra beat to do it. So time is always a factor.
And I was holding my breath while you were speaking because I can so relate. I mean, I do all of the things. It's
Yeah.
kind of like have the best intentions, but we just get wrapped up in the moment and we're problem solving and doing and planning and all the stuff at one time,
Yeah.
right? So, and I think a word that someone used with me recently was, take a pause.
Hmm. Take a
Just
beat.
take a minute. Just let's just sit with it for a second.
Yeah.
We're just so fast paced.
And it's just like if you have an email, if you're passionate or feeling, assertive on an email, take a minute before you send it. How is that going to land with someone? Do I need to edit it? Do we take out the maybes? Do we think out, these certain words that give it more, make it strong or assertive, but it's not going to be hurtful or damaging? There was something I wrote down this morning when I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about the intentionality of the day. And it's just as being strategic. I'm a really strategic, visionary, thinking forward. But when we stop and look at like what's right in front of us that needs to be taken care of before things can move forward, is just as important.
That is important. And I'm so like, I'm in the weeds and you're pulling me out. So this is
Oh,
good.
well, that's what the call was for me this morning that I had with my colleague. Another one, it was, okay, we're going to be accountability partners for each other. And sometimes you just need that other person and you've got that check in with them, be it a mentor, be it a board of advisors, just someone who can, hold the mirror up or to say, hey, it's okay, take that beat, then move on to the next. So a lot of people are so overwhelmed in trying to manage what they manage with work, manage with their finances and portfolios, but it's also, you put your mask on first. So you've got to take care of you as well before you can take care of all the people on your team or manage your entire company.
I love that. So, and I'm curious to know how you communicate this, how you get people to do what you're recommending, and what literally makes you unique in the way that you do that or help others.
Yeah, I would think, Donna, I spread the word. I live it. So there are those that see it for what I do and how I manage my life and my world and my business. What makes me unique is probably some of the really walking the walk that I really truly feel that's ingrained in who I've become and just my sharing it. There's so many different areas that I work with, both from the client side or facilitation, teaching in different programs that I'm responsible for. How I share that advice, I am genuinely someone who has taken the time to get to where I am. So now it just becomes second nature.
And I was thinking, just reminiscing on something. You were talking about when you're sending emails and such, or you're writing something, and you take a minute
Mhm.
and you review. Do I need to take out the extra words that I don't really need, or just the tone, or
Yeah.
whatever. I actually, when I was working in corporate America, I got called in by someone because I had written an email in all caps, and the person, and I literally had no idea I had the all
Yeah.
caps button on. It was purely accidental, but the person that was on the
Yeah.
receiving end of that was totally mortified and offended, and I'd been yelling at her.
Yes.
I was like, I was having a really hard time getting my head around how that can be so upsetting. But the reality is we're emotional beings, and how we interpret things is the surface stuff, right?
The things that triggers. I had a family member send it to me, and I was like, please never send me a text in all caps. And it was one of those, oops, fat fingers, that my finger got stuck on it and it just did the whole thing. And I said, please, there are things that just trigger us that are small that way. But, having the awareness and sharing that with someone. I had a conversation last week with someone, and I said, explaining with data why you're passionate, supporting yourself with data and backup, but letting someone know so it doesn't come through as emotional. It doesn't come across as aggressive. Assertive's one thing, aggressive's another, but supporting yourself with data to emphasize, hey, I'm passionate about this and this is how it's going to come through. But here's the data to support it, really helps to balance out that perception that we often have or that people perceive.
Okay, that's very helpful. I appreciate that. So tell me, where do you see the industry that you're in going over the next 5 to 10 years, and how are you staying on top of that?
I love this question because I'm looking at a lot of different programs right now for myself and my business is artificial intelligence. The use of AI in communications, executive and strategic communications. And there's so many people who say, oh, it's going to put us out of business. The thing is, we've got to be smart already to put in the prompts, to put in the content, to ask the right questions. So being thoughtful, strategic, having insight about something to be able to ask that question to see what you get. So it can help make us more efficient. Sure, I use it quite often. It can help us create things quickly. It can give us different perspective. We use it for our personal lives. If it's a text message, if it's a full-blown email, it can smooth things out. There's some really great uses for it, especially in the communications industry. Internationally, I think it's that great balance. I'm looking at insight about some different cybersecurity things. Maybe it can give me a name of a podcast, or it can give me a name of a reporter I'm looking for a client. Or what is it specifically that's going on? And it can consolidate for me what they're doing in cybersecurity, or what the industry is looking like, electric vehicles in cybersecurity, whatever my prompts might be. So I would say really embracing looking at the right tools for your business and how you can effectively utilize those. I'm a little apprehensive on some of the voice training of AI. So I've played with it a little bit. I'm not sure I'm going there yet, but I definitely think from a writing perspective.
Yeah, and I haven't been bold enough to try that yet myself, or
Yeah.
even the redoing the image of myself. So I've done the research. I think the
Yeah,
research is a valuable tool. So
absolutely.
that's awesome. But I agree with you. I don't. It may displace some jobs, but it's literally going to help most of us do our jobs more efficiently. And
Yeah,
yeah, just too many opportunities there for us.
you
So
bet.
let me shift gears into a personal nature.
Okay.
Now, you can frame this as a failure or a challenge,
Okay.
whatever terminology you want to use. But what is the biggest failure or challenge that you faced to this point in your life, whether professionally or personally, and how has that shaped how you're doing business today?
I would say even when we started out at the beginning of this, I'm not, because I'm a pretty optimistic, I'm realistic as well, and pretty practical. But I think what's shaped me and become different is just the prioritization and how I'm looking at even a 10-year window for me from a retirement perspective, where I want to be, and really setting some goals around that. Things that I could have done sooner, that might be, but I don't look at it as a failure, because there are people who change careers at whatever age. There are people who get married at whatever age. So, the universe, God, whoever will bring us what is needed when it's needed for us. So I have some faith in that, but I also know that I'm doing good work. I'm doing the work, and it's also paying off in
I
giving me
love
the
that.
time and the space to do things that I love, and have great clients. So it's just being thoughtful about it. I've become more and more thoughtful about it. So I wouldn't say failures, maybe things that I've wanted to try sooner, a class, or doing, learning a language. I can definitely do those at any point. I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely think that it's easy to look in the rearview mirror and see, okay, hindsight's 2020. We wish we had a whatever,
Yeah.
but we do what we do when we do it, and we grow from it. And it's only when we don't, learn from, life's whatevers, that we're not making progress. So I appreciate that. So
Yeah.
tell me, if you could have lunch with any human being, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's such a good question. I used to have a list of people that I'd want to have if I had a dinner party, and I don't know why Robin Williams is popping up for me, because I'm sure there's someone else that, an author or someone that I've just like, adored. But I would probably say him. And it's because, one, I like funny, and you have to be smart to be funny. I think he led a life. There was obviously pain, but I just think he'd be interesting. So probably not the best answer. And that should have been one you fed me sooner, so I could have come back with we could have come back with another one for you. But at first I thought, is it Michelle Obama because she's in the news today? Is it, Isabella Rossellini because I just watched Conclave? I'm going to go with Robin Williams because he truly is the first person who popped up. Just somebody who's funny. And I think that joy of laughing and the kookiness would be something I'd enjoy.
I love it. And I have to tell you that you're not the first person that I've had on my podcast to say him. And as a matter of fact, I think 3 out of about 30 people. So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
Hmm.
and it literally came into my head, so I'll take
Right.
it.
And I'm like you. I mean, it depends on what day of the week or, what we might have just recently been influenced by. But I mean, it could
Yeah,
be 100 people. Ask me again tomorrow, right?
sure.
No, but I love that, and I agree with you on Robin Williams. He had a very huge positive impact on the world,
Yeah,
and hated to see him go. So let me ask this question: if
thank
people
you.
wanted to engage with you, how would they do that? Are you available to take on new clients? Tell us all the things where we would find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So first you can find me via my website. So Image Matters Advisors. It is Matters with a Z, Image Matters Advisors. And I am taking new clients. So I'm excited about that. This year has kicked off. I wrapped a few really amazing projects with clients last year, and my engagements vary. So it can be from 3 months, 6 months to year-long engagements, depending on what you or be it from an executive coaching or being something broader from a leadership development, facilitation, or training. So yeah, that's the way to reach me. And also you can contact me at Leslie at imagemattersadvisors.com. So that's my email if someone wants to reach out.
That is so fabulous. Well, I know our listeners are going to be intrigued to check it out to see what all you have done,
Thank you.
especially since you've got such an international presence too. So, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast today.
My pleasure, Donna.
I hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired, informed, and ready to take the next step in your financial journey. Remember, building wealth isn't just about money, it's also about creating a life that aligns with your goals and values. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with the women in your life who deserve financial empowerment too. Until next time, stay confident, stay empowered, and keep building the life you desire.